Great. So, hello everyone. Hello. It's good to see you all here again. I always really enjoy this time of the week. It's nice to see all of you guys and have you all guys all come to something that's kind of live and a nice community thing. I always really enjoy that. We are delving into, I would say, nutrition slash mindset today, a bit of both. We are delving into emotional eating specifically, and my aim for this call is I want to give you guys a really solid protocol and a step-by-step plan on how to overcome it. I don't want it to just be, talking about it, talking about why it's challenging. Of course, it is challenging. I want you guys to actually have a step-by-step that if you do struggle with this, even if you don't struggle with it right now, you might struggle with it a bit further down the line. If you ever struggle with this, I want you to have a protocol that you're like, aha, I know exactly what to do if this happens. So, this is what we're going to kind of dive into today. So, first things first, really, my screen will share in a second. Today's goal really is mainly understanding why emotional eating happens, what the root causes are of it, why it feels so hard, and how to start fixing it. I thought it was a really good time to do this because I know that a lot of you guys do struggle with this, and that's myself included as well. So I'm kind of talking here from, the years that I've been coaching and coaching lots of different people, but also from my own experience. I used to really struggle with emotional eating terribly, particularly when I was a teenager. Um, I would often, and I realized this, that food was always my comfort blanket. Whenever I was happy or stressed or sad or upset or angry, whatever it was, I would always reach for food, and food would be the first thing that I'd go to. And it feels difficult to overcome. And when I was first sort of starting to take my health really seriously, I felt like I didn't know how to tackle it, and there was not much information out there, and I felt like I needed more help with it. So that's kind of what we're really going to talk about today. My screen should be shared now, and you guys should be able to see it. So, first of all, like we can talk about what emotional eating actually is. So we know all obviously what it is kind of at face value, but what it is, it's either eating for comfort, it's eating for relief, eating for distraction or reward, rather than physical hunger. It's a different thing, even if it feels similar. It often sounds like things like, oh, I've had a really hard day. I just need something. I need something to take the edge off. Or I'm stressed. I want food. I'm bored. I'll snack. I'm sad. Food will make me feel better. All those sorts of things. It's not actually hunger, but what it is instead is it's using food to manage feelings, and it's using food as kind of a coping mechanism. The reason why it happens, there's a lot of different reasons. And some people, I would say, maybe struggle with it more than others. There's probably lots of different reasons for that, probably stemming back from our childhoods and all sorts, and just the experiences that we've had throughout our lives. But emotional eating usually happens because food gives us comfort, it gives us relief, it gives us pleasure, distraction, and a bit of a break from difficult feelings. Food works really quickly, and that's why your brain always goes back to it. In that moment, as soon as you eat something that you really love, your brain gets flooded with oxytocin, serotonin, all those happy hormones and happy emotions. So it's a really quick instant fix that instantly soothes us. For a moment, it numbs a lot of things like stress, loneliness, frustration, boredom, overwhelm. And like I said, many of us struggle with it, myself included. What we'll talk about today, emotional eating won't just magically go away overnight, but the stuff that I'm going to teach you guys and that I would encourage you all to take on board will massively help you to deal with it a lot better when it comes up. And over time, it does really work. So, the reasons why it can be common, particularly amongst you guys, like most of you guys here have got big weight loss targets. You want to lose 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 kg plus. Pretty much all of you, not everyone, but pretty much all of you have got that goal. So, when you are someone that typically has a lot of weight to lose, emotional eating can often be an issue that comes with that. And it's not uncommon. And it's often not a small issue either. It's often one of the main reasons that progress and sticking to a calorie deficit can feel really tough. And that's because emotional eating can very much become a very ingrained habit. It can become a coping mechanism. It becomes a reward system as well. And it's also just a way of kind of switching off those difficult feelings. When that's been happening for years, it's not just about the food anymore. It's about the emotion, the routine, your identity, and also how you comfort yourself and how you soothe yourself. It becomes something very layered, quite complex, and quite entrenched. It's so hard to overcome for that reason, but also because emotional eating isn't just about having more willpower. You know, when people say, like, oh, just be more disciplined or just have better willpower, it's such an unhelpful, annoying thing to be told. I know that whenever someone said that to me, it would really piss me off because it's like, I want this. I do really want this. It's not that I don't care and it's not that I don't have willpower. It's just I don't feel like I actually have the tools to overcome it. And I need more than just being told to work harder. It doesn't work. It's difficult because it's deeply, deeply habitual. Like I said, it becomes very layered, very complex. It gives immediate relief. Temporarily, it feels good. It also just sort of becomes your go-to. It becomes your go-to response. Reaching for food becomes the thing that is just like a natural response when anything kind of rocky happens in life. And it often just gets to a place where it happens very much automatically. It can sometimes feel like it just happens on autopilot. So even when you know better, logically, your brain still wants the quick comfort. And that's why just saying, oh, like get over it or be disciplined, that it's so unhelpful. And like I said, it used to really piss me off when I heard people say that to me. Um, why this needs to be fixed first, before anything, before, delving into things like calorie deficits and meal guides and meal plans and workout plans, this stuff, this emotional, this habitual stuff needs to be addressed first. If emotional eating is really prevalent in your life, fat loss is going to feel 10 times harder. It's going to feel 10 times harder than other people that don't struggle with it. And it's going to feel 10 times harder than it needs to. You can have the perfect calorie goal, a great workout plan, lots of knowledge. You can have all the accountability in the world. But if your emotions keep driving your food choices, you will keep getting pulled off track. And that's why it feels so tough. For a lot of people, not all, but a lot of people, this is the first problem to solve because it does affect everything else so much. But without being all doom and gloom and talking about why it's so difficult, we don't want to stay in that place. The good news is that emotional eating can be improved. The goal isn't, oh, I'm just never going to emotionally eat ever again. That would be amazing, but that's very unlikely that's ever going to happen. But you don't need to get to that place. The goal is instead to do it less often, catch it earlier, and notice it when it happens earlier, respond differently, and recover from it quicker. That's what is going to help you guys to stay on track with your goals. It's about building awareness and control. Like I said, it's not going to magically fix overnight, and it probably won't ever get fully fixed. It will probably always be there to an element. I know that it is for me. If I go through like a particularly stressful time in my life, those thoughts and those feelings to emotionally eat can really creep back in for me. They don't go away. You just learn to deal with it better and become a lot more resilient. So I want to now go through your plan of action to overcome emotional eating. There are 6 steps, I believe, if I remember correctly when I made this. There are 6 steps that I want you to go through. First of all, before anything else, you need to make sure that you are eating properly during the day. Oftentimes, if somebody comes to me and says, I massively struggle with binge eating, or I massively struggle with emotional eating, or my cravings are always insane whenever I try to lose weight, in a lot of cases, that can stem from being underfed during the day. So, when it comes to being busy at work, running about all day, being super busy, it's very easy to forget to eat. So, if you're skipping meals, having tiny portions at breakfast and lunch, eating very low protein, saving your calories all day for the evening, this is why cravings go crazy when you come home at night. And this is why emotional eating can really creep in a lot of times. It's just because you're absolutely starving from the day that you've had. Even if you don't feel starving in the moment, when you get home at night, suddenly you want to eat everything. You're absolutely ravenous, and sticking to a calorie deficit feels impossible because you're so hungry. So you're going to be a lot more vulnerable later on, essentially, by having this approach to food. So what you need to do is just make sure that you're eating more regular meals. I know it sounds a bit simple and it sounds a bit more basic, but it is massively important, especially if weight loss is the goal. We don't want to just be eating more food for the sake of it. Like if you're genuinely really not hungry and you're like shoving food in your face, that's also not what we really want. But it's because an underfed, the cat's just jumped on the table. See, go away, Tink. That's because an underfed body is much harder to regulate. When you're starving hungry, it's much harder to stick to a deficit. So you need to make sure that you're getting a decent balance of calories throughout your day and not just saving all your calories for the night time. You need to have a solid breakfast and a solid lunch that's got good protein in. And I would say that all of you have obviously got personalized calorie goals. Whatever your goal is, I don't want you to ever dip too far below that calorie goal. Never more than like 150 to 200 if you can help it. Like I said, if there's one day where you're just absolutely stuffed, you're not hungry at all, and you're maybe 300 calories under, every now and then is fine. And we don't want you to like ignore your hunger and your fullness cues. But if it's happening quite chronically, you're quite chronically under the goal, you are on a very risky sort of tightrope for setting yourself up to maybe binge later down the line. It might not be the next day, but it might be in the next couple of weeks or in the next month. Because inevitably, if you're chronically under eating and not getting enough during the day, that's what you want to focus on. And you want to always get near to the calorie goal that we have given you. It's there for a reason, and that calorie goal is set there for a reason. So it's a target that you want to try and hit when you can. Following on from that, we mentioned protein just now. Increase your protein if you're also really struggling. Even more prevalent when you're trying to lose weight. Protein is one of the most powerful tools that you have when you're dieting. It's because it keeps you fuller for longer, it helps to reduce your cravings, it stabilizes your eating and your blood sugar, it makes evening overeating less likely. So, if your meals at the moment during the day and throughout the whole day, if they're mostly like beige carbs and kind of snacky foods that you're picking at, no wonder you feel hungry. No wonder you maybe get tempted to emotional eat, and maybe no wonder you go on a binge later on. It's because you are just hungrier and less satisfied. So, a good question to always be asking yourself at the moment if you're losing weight is, where's the protein in this meal? Always think of building your meals and picking your protein first. Don't pick the carbs and the fats first and then think, oh God, there isn't any protein in there. Always think, right, I'm going to build myself a meal. What's my protein that I'm choosing first? We don't really give out meal plans in this program. You got most of you guys know why that is. But for those of you that are listening that may be new, meal plans are good on paper, and I think they can work for some people. If you're someone that maybe if you're like a professional athlete that's got specific, very set nutrition goals, maybe it can work quite well for you. But when it comes to like the average person, myself included, meal plans don't work because inevitably when you get bored, you're going to stray away from the meal plan. It doesn't account for flexible dieting and for meals out and things. And also, inevitably, when you come off of the meal plan, you're not going to have had much education about nutrition. So that's why we don't do that. We give you guys collections of recipes and we teach you how to build your meals instead. And this is how you want to build it when you're trying to lose weight. What's my protein choice first of all? Then add carbs, then add fats, then add fruit and veg to your plate. If you do that, you're going to bump the protein up in your food massively. It's going to feel much easier to stick to your calorie deficit goal because you're not hungry after picking it instead of picking at food. A bonus here, also prioritize fiber. Fiber really helps. Low calorie usually. Helps to kind of bind with protein to keep you really full. Things that are amazing fiber wise, avocados are really good, berries are really good, chia seeds, flax seeds, nuts and nuts, sorry, are good fiber as well. Other fruits and veg, yes. When it comes to like more salady sort of vegetables, so like tomatoes, cucumbers, salad leaves, and that sort of thing, obviously they've got great vitamins in. They're quite water based, so those things aren't typically so high in fiber. Obviously, they're still great to include, but if you're looking for fiber, you want to go for more things like that, and also things like lentils and chickpeas and any kind of beans and things like that as well. Complex carbs as well: brown pasta, brown rice, brown bread. So that's the next thing. Step 3. You need to create more regular meal structure. This is also following on from the points before. The more chaotic your eating is, the easier it is for emotional eating to sneak in. So you need a simple structure. You need a breakfast. Your breakfast doesn't have to be at 6 a.m. if you're not a breakfast person, but you do need to make sure you're having a first meal of the day at some point in the morning. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a planned snack if needed. And you need to make sure that you're eating at similar times a day, every day as much as possible. This reduces grazing, it reduces picking. It reduces like when you're eating in this way, if you're not really having set meal times and bigger portions throughout the day, sometimes you get to the end of the day and go, how am I nearly at my calories? Like I feel like I've barely eaten anything. It's because you're not really following a structure with your food. It also prevents random overeating in the evening. This structure creates a lot of stability. You might be someone that loves to have a breakfast really early on, for example. You might be someone that likes to delay your breakfast a bit more. For me personally, when I'm dieting, I like to have a coffee when I first wake up in the morning, only because I love coffee. It's also a bit of a benefit that it's a bit of an appetite suppressant. That's quite useful sometimes when you are dieting. But I always wake up, I have a coffee, and then I'll delay my breakfast until like 9:30, 10. If I have mine at 7 a.m., I'm absolutely starving again by 10 a.m. And it's hard for me. So I personally do that, but I still make sure I have a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner and a planned snack if I need it. That's what you guys need to think of as well. Then, once you've kind of looked at fixing those things with your diet first, then If you're doing those things and you're still feeling the urge to eat, you need to start implementing the pause technique. So when the urge to emotionally eat hits, don't tell yourself, I can't have it, because all that's going to do is you're going to think about it 10 times more. Instead, you need to use a kind of a pause and check technique. So what this is you need to consciously notice the urge to eat is there. Or if you're in the kitchen, oftentimes I feel like we end up in the kitchen because we're thinking about food. If you're in the kitchen, I want you to leave the kitchen. But I want you to first of all ask yourself, am I physically hungry? What am I actually feeling right now? And I want you to delay the automatic reaction and choose your next step on purpose. This small pause really helps to break the cycle over time. It's not easy to do it first. It feels uncomfortable. It can feel a bit difficult. But what I can tell you is if you're willing to overcome it and you're willing to put the work in, it gets easier and easier and easier every time you do it. So, first of all, you need to just pause for 5 or 10 minutes, not eat anything, and just say, is this actual physical hunger that I'm feeling, or is it something else? Following on from that, what to do during the pause. During that pause for 5 or 10 minutes, do something that regulates you for that's not to do with food. So, go for a short walk, make a tea, get outside, text someone, journal what you're feeling, take 5 slow breaths, even like, watch something on YouTube or watch something on TV, sit away from the kitchen. The goal there isn't punishment, it's about creating space between feeling and eating. And you're trying to figure out in that moment if it's genuine hunger or if it's an emotion coming in. You're feeling stressed or you're bored or you're anxious or you're upset or something. You then, what you need to do following on from that, step number 5, is learn the difference between hunger and emotion. So, physical hunger usually comes on gradually. You feel it in your body, like you feel it in your stomach. It can be satisfied usually by a normal meal. Emotional hunger is different. It feels incredibly urgent. It normally wants specific foods. It comes on very suddenly and you don't feel satisfied for long. You have the food, you don't really feel satisfied afterwards. This is what you need to start doing. So, pausing for a few minutes, asking, is it genuine hunger or is it emotion? Looking out for those cues. If it is genuine hunger, then that's fine. Go into the kitchen and get yourself something to eat. Eat slowly, try and pick something with decent protein in there. But if it's not, then you know that food isn't going to be the thing that solves it and food isn't going to be the answer. Instead, you need to find another avenue to soothe your emotions that doesn't have anything to do with food and isn't going to throw you off your progress here. Like I said, this takes practice, but it is one of the most useful skills that you can build. When you start this, you're probably going to mess up the first couple of times. It's probably not going to work the first couple of times. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Food noise is going to be quite loud, but it gets better over time. And it's just about being willing, at least in the beginning, for the first couple of attempts, to sit in that discomfort a bit. Just because it's uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that it's wrong to do. It's just that it's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit. And it's just accepting that at the start. It's going to feel a bit uncomfortable, but it will get better if I keep working at it and chipping away. And then step number 6, stop making it worse with guilt. If emotional eating happens, let's say you go over your calories and you binge eat on something, and your next thought is, I've ruined it, I'm absolutely useless, I can't do this, I've got absolutely no willpower. That shame usually keeps you stuck and leads you to more overeating. So if it happens, you just need to acknowledge it, you need to learn from it, you need to move on fast. The shame is what keeps the cycle going, and then that self-awareness actually starts to break it. What you also might need, sometimes emotional eating isn't just about food. Sometimes it can be an indicator that something else in our lives might need setting some boundaries. So it might be about needing more rest. It might be needing less stress in your life. It might be needing some more support. It might be needing some better tools to help you regulate your emotions. You may well need to have a bit of an honest chat with yourself, think about your life and think, is it work that's really stressing me out? Is it something in my home life that's causing me a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety? Sometimes we need to kind of do that inner work and think, actually, this isn't going to change unless I make that positive change and I reduce my stress and I put some boundaries in place to alleviate with that. Sometimes it's not really about the food, it's that something else is really bothering us and really triggering us, and food is kind of becoming the outlet. Food might be the symptom, but it's not always actually the real issue. And this is why this work matters so much. And just to put kind of a disclaimer in here, like if you guys do really struggle with this, Adam and I absolutely want to hear from you. If you are really struggling with this, I know that I talk to you guys about this a lot. Those of you guys that I know that do struggle with it. But if at the moment it's something that you do find hard and you find it hard to overcome, this is exactly what we're here to help you with. So always reach out if you guys feel like you need a bit more support, you need a bit more accountability with it as well. The real goal, the real goal here isn't me just saying, oh, if you just do this, it's going to wave a magic wand and it's all going to go away. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, but it will get better. The real goal is more awareness of this, better structure, better nourishment, better pauses, better choices under stress, and better regulation of emotion. It's not going to go away overnight, and it does take patience. But what I can tell you is 100% worth it. And I feel like if I can overcome it, you guys can definitely overcome it as well, for sure. So, to kind of recap, this is your simple emotional eating plan. If this is something that you struggle with, I want you to start here. First of all, are you eating 3 proper meals a day at decent times? Are you prioritizing protein and fiber with every meal? Stop skipping meals to be good, particularly if you're someone that struggles with emotional eating. Stop skipping meals. Stop eating just like carby, beigey things, and also stop chronically under eating your calorie goal if that's what you are doing. Next thing is to use that pause and check technique. Stop, leave the kitchen. Is it hunger? Is it emotion? Depending on which answer it is after 10 minutes, either get a snack or divert and do something else. Ask what you're feeling before you eat and reach out if it keeps happening as well. Like I said, we want to hear from you guys. Just keep it really simple, and simple works. And I can promise you that if you guys implement this stuff, it will radically, radically change not only your progress physically, but mentally as well. So that's everything I kind of wanted to go through with you guys this week. Um, if you implement these tools, it will work. Like I said, it just takes a little bit of patience and just a little bit of willingness to kind of sit in the discomfort. But you absolutely can overcome it. And I hope that this has been really useful for you guys, because I know that it's something that a lot of us do really struggle with. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there's a way out for this. So it's been really good to see you guys all here. I want to kind of keep this short and sweet this week and make it as useful for all of you as possible. So that's everything. For those of you that are either here live, or if you're going to be listening to this back on the recording, if you have any further questions for me, anything you want to talk through about you specifically, you know where I am. Obviously, ask me a question and I'll be happy to talk it through with you. But other than that, I'm going to let you guys go. It is still lovely and sunny where I am. So you guys try and get outside for the rest of the day, because I don't know if it's going to be as nice tomorrow. It's been really good to see you all here. Well done. And I hope you guys have a really great evening. I'll catch up with you all tomorrow.